Hello, it's Rebecca and today is another book review day and this is my 34th book that I've been reading for the 2015 Reading Challenge. I will put a little link down below in the description box to explain what the challenge is about, but basically it's to read 52 books over a year, with each book coming from a different category. And the book that I've been reading this time comes from the category of a book that was made into a film. So I have been reading I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. So I will read you the blurb and talk to you about the book. Robert Neville is the last living man on Earth, but he is not alone. Every other man, woman and child on the planet has become a vampire, and they are hungry for Neville's blood. By day, he is the hunter, stalking the undead through the ruins of civilization. By night, he barricades himself in his home and prays for the dawn. How long can one man survive like this? So, I heard of this book/film with Will Smith's I Am Legend, I think 2007 that came out. Before that was Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston in the 70s, and even before that was The Last Man on Earth, starring Vincent Price, and I think that was the 60s. So this book has been made into 3 films that I'm aware of. It's a vampire story. It's also not very good. And it's quite difficult to say that because it is a classic. It's been made into 3 films. I've only seen one, the Will Smith version. I think my parents do own the Omega Man. I may watch that at some point, but I certainly didn't realise that there was a Vincent Price version many, many years ago. Basically, Robert is the last man on Earth, as the blurb says. A virus or something has killed off the entire population of the planet. I'm not too sure how he survived. He puts it down to being bitten by a vampire bat and his body kind of reacted to the venom or whatever it was that the vampire bat put in him, and his body built up a resistance to this vampiric germ that has gone around killing all these other people. So he lives at home on his own and he has barricaded his house so that the vampires can't get in. He's built himself an electricity generator and he's got fridges and freezers and cupboards stocked full of food, and he has to go out every day and steal, although it's not really stealing, food and supplies to keep himself alive. And he spends time trying to work out how to kill them because they all respond differently to different things. Where we know traditional vampires are frightened of garlic or the sign of the cross or things like that, he's noticed that different vampires have different things that can kill them. So not much happens. There isn't much dialogue because he is completely on his own, although he does have a next door neighbour or a neighbour on his street who every evening calls his name and tells him to come outside. It's quite dull and it's quite badly written. It reads like a first draft manuscript where you want to get a red pen and cross out all the repetition and tidy it up and give a little bit more explanation to things, because in some places it is confusing. It doesn't seem to run in chronological order. It appears to jump back to some bits in the past, but it doesn't fully explain that that's what it's doing. So at one point he's talking to his wife and his wife is there, but she was killed or she died because of this vampiric germ that has gone around infecting people. He doesn't seem to be as mad as I would assume I would be after 3 years of having no other human contact. He seems quite sane, he seems quite normal. He goes through his daily routines as if it was just a regular day. And in my head, sometimes when I go for a day without speaking to anybody, I feel the need to speak to people. And he's gone 3 years. I don't know whether or not he's just got so used to the fact that he's the only human being alive that isn't a vampire. But it doesn't feel real, if that's the word. How we would react if there were vampires all outside our houses, I don't know. But to me, the character just seems a little bit flat, which is sad because I do quite like a vampire story, but this just feels very meh. And from what I can remember of the Will Smith film, it isn't very much like the book, which in a way is a good thing because the film is a lot more exciting, a lot more interesting. There's a lot more suspense and emotion in it. I remember crying at the end, or at least feeling sad. I didn't really feel sad at the end of this one. I was just a bit like, well, crap happens, doesn't it? That's it, really. He does meet somebody. There is another alive person, but that's a bit of a weird situation, and I'm not too sure I fully understood that, but if you read it, you'll probably understand. He does want to try to find out why everything's like this, and he does have a makeshift laboratory set up where he tests the blood and that kind of stuff to try and find out how and why these people behave the way they do, but nothing really comes to fruition. He doesn't fully understand, and he can't fully realise how he's supposed to kill everybody. He feels like he should kill everybody, but there's still some that wander the streets. I feel a little bit disappointed after this. It's not long, it's about 160 pages, so it didn't take a lifetime to read. But I mean, on the front it says the most clever and riveting vampire novel since Dracula. Unless this is the only vampire novel written since Dracula, I can't believe that to be true. I'm sorry, I just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't particularly exciting. It just felt very flat, and like I say, like a first draft that needs a good bit of red pen scribbled all over the text. So read it if you want. It'll only take you, well, it took me a couple of days, and I'm a slow reader, so it may even take you less time to read it, but I can't say I enjoyed it that much. So I'm going to go and watch the film and get a little bit more excited by it, because this just, didn't do it for me. So if you'd like to hear any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out every time I've read a book, and I occasionally give writing advice, talk about my own writing and other bits of stuff that I'm getting up to. So if you're interested in reading and or writing, then please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.